We're live, Jody. We're live. Should we act like it's the first? No, we won't do that joke again.
No, let those guys do that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even know what episode we're on, honestly.
I stopped counting, man. I stopped counting. It says 0 people are watching this. That can't be right.
There's people in the chat, though.
It just went up. It just went up.
Because Jay Clean's only going to be here for 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Scott's in the chat. Billy Berg, Dean, the normals. I don't know how we got 0. Well, I don't know.
Maybe Jay Clean says it's a good morning for 2 more minutes because when we start in 2 minutes, the morning goes to hell.
Everybody, welcome to the show. Another episode. I don't know what number, but rest assured it's a lot of the Can-Am Connection. Ryan Espey, a.k.a. Rick Martel, Chocolate Thunder Jody Williams, a.k.a. Tom Zink. We are the Can-Am Connection.
You know what I need is the spray bottle. Remember the arrogance?
Oh, the model?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Once those and Martel, AWA champion, right? Went to WWE. Him and Tito Santana, No, that's right. They were the Can-Am Connection.
They were the
Strike Force. And then after that, Martel went to be the model. Tom Zink went to WCW and became the Z-Man. He just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Man. But everyone's in. Carl Stanley, Jay Clean, Matt, Dean, Billy Berg, Scott McGinnis. Welcome to the show. If you have not yet done so, please do like and subscribe to this channel.
Now, we're going to get into this Dave Chaffee stuff, but I haven't seen any of it. So I got to go back and I got to watch because I expected it to get heated. But let's not start there, Jody. Let's start. You've got an event coming up this weekend, the LLD Foundation event.
Yes, third edition. And it's getting bigger and bigger every year. Only this time, and just so we're all clear, I live in Bend, Oregon, right? That's where the headquarters is. And this year we're going to have it in a different city. We're going to have it 30 minutes north in Redmond because hotels here in town are just, excuse my language, they're fucking expensive. Like, we are the poor man's version of Aspen, Colorado, right? So hotels are ridiculous. It's a good place to visit because it's, a lot of outdoor stuff. It brings everybody in. If you like beer, there's all kind of breweries everywhere. So there's always that. But it just got to a point, my wife and I felt bad, and everybody on the LLD Foundation committee just got bummed out when, hey, come to our tournament, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for a freaking, hotel. So we decided to move it to a little cheaper up in Redmond, which is 30 minutes north of us. So it's not that far. The only thing is that if we forget anything, then that's a 30-minute, 1-hour drive round trip if we forgot something. But anyway, third annual, we raffle things off. And just to let everybody know what this is all about, I'm not going to get too deep into it. Everyone knows our son passed away. This will be he's been off for 3 years now. So we decided, my wife and I decided to put together a foundation and pay it forward. So now we help out kids who cannot afford to do any kind of sports, or they cannot afford to get sports equipment. So that's what we do, kind of playing it forward and stuff. So as a fundraiser, we decided to have a tournament, and our first one was outdoors. It was like 75 entries, I think. And then I can't remember the numbers, like 150 maybe last year. That was indoors at the Shiloh. This year it'll be at General Duffy's in Redmond. What's good about that is that where we're located is at, you got tons of food trucks. Cool. One thing we don't have to worry about is food. So that's awesome. There's 2 bars there. So if you want to get beverage there, that's fine too. Once again, nothing we have to worry about. And it gets better and better because check it out. We don't have to worry about brackets either. Mr. Corey Miller's coming down with the air system. If you haven't seen my episode with Corey, Bob Brown, Jamie Sheldon, myself, we did it Friday. Please go to my YouTube and check that one out. Awesome. We should have put that topic on there too, but I guess if we have time, we can circle back to that. I'll be reffing. Pastor Mark will be reffing. Tim Talmadge, certified ref. One of his buddies is certified too, so we'll have 4 refs, which means we'll be having 2 tables going simultaneously. So that'll be awesome. Like I said, we wrap off some prizes. That's also good. And by the way. Two things. One, the overalls. So we all know how the overalls work, right? Every person in each class that takes first place was eligible, left and right. So we have $500 for the left-hand overall champion and $500 for the right-hand overall champion. So there's $1,000 to be had. So come over. Now, the big thing, this is where you come in, Ryan. So we got a transfer machine, right? So my best friend, his wife, Oregon Screen Impressions. Yes, bring that up. So what this is that we have a machine. So we have transfer shirts, which is a plain shirt, $8, and you can get any one of these transfers on here. And a small one is $5, a big one is $10, and you have any one of those logos on your shirt. Or if you want, just if you have your own shirt, you can also get one of those logos on your shirt, either or. So you have different options. So that's something that we've never had before. So I'm really excited to see how this goes.
I might get one of these shirts and get you to send it up to me, Jody.
Yes.
But there you go.
What size?
Triple XL.
Triple XL. All right. Because I'm telling you right now, this is big time stuff over here. So we've never had a transfer sheet before. So we're going to see how this works, and then we're going to go from there. Jay Clean, Redmond, Oregon is the place. Redmond, Oregon. Yes. So it's a lot cheaper hotel wise than Bend, Oregon. So
there you go. Jay Clean says this is his second favorite podcast, his first being my real estate one. So search my name on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to all those channels. There's a couple more out there.
Yes.
All right. Well, should we get into the big King of the Table card?
3 matches, but you know what? And all the melee, because of the 3 matches, should we talk about the match that no one's really talking about first? Give them some shine.
Well,
in comparison.
I think there's 2 of them that we're not really talking about in comparison. But I mean, are we talking Egan versus Coach Ray?
No, people talk about that. It's just because Egan's Pro Nation. Coach Ray had fire back. So I mean, they do. That's been talk. I mean, Devin Dave thing kind of just, took over the whole thing.
I think there's a real animosity there. They clearly don't like each other.
And we can save that one for last, but the match that no one's hardly talking about in comparison to the other 2 is the match I've been wanting to see for a long time now. You too, Ryan, because as both of us are left-hand dominant in the sport, this right here is the match I've been waiting for. And for some reason or another, it's not getting the publicity that I thought it would be,
Well, we're going to find the answer to the question. How good is, I think, our best left-handed guy in comparison to the East's best left-handed guy? And yeah, I put Morozov up there. Is it going to be a blowout one way or another? Is it going to be close? Is it going to come down to stamina? I do not know. I will make a pick.
Well, what kind of stamina does Morozov have? Just curious.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, he's hung in there before, but I mean, this is a guy that generally pulls multiple super matches in the same event. I know it's different arms, but it always takes something out of you. But he's game to always do that. He's always game to do that. He gets into some grinders. Yeah.
Jay Clean says Morozov is a stamina puller, which I would agree. And here's the thing. You want to know what's funny? And I want everybody in the chat to think about this for a sec, because the first thing you think about when you see Corey West is how big he is. Yeah, guy's over 400 pounds. What if I told you I think personally he has better stamina than Jerry Catterett, and Jerry's like 325?
Man, I don't know if I believe you.
You don't think so?
Well,
I don't see Corey breathing hard after matches.
I know Jerry breathes hard, and he looks like he's going to have a full-on medical incident right there on stage. But I've also watched him pull 7-minute long matches, and that was just one
That's
round.
because his foot's wedged against the table, which it's good for him. Good morning, Tim Talmadge and Arm Sports Entertainment in the house. Here's the thing, because now if you wedge yourself, you're going to have a lot of stamina. So I put you this way: when I'm pulling the match, if I get my shoulder involved and I'm in the hook match, I'll last long in this position than I would in that position.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. You're locked in there, so it's not really a position where any particular muscle group is going to fail because you're using a lot of, your frame and your bone structure to pull.
And I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm not saying it's cheating. I'm just saying that when someone gets to that point, well, hell, I mean, when I pulled Adrian Popescu up in Arm Wars, you saw that match, right, Ryan?
Yeah, of course.
Where, a lot of those matches, once I got my shoulder involved, it was a lot harder for him to pin me. I was just hanging in there because he had to go through my hand and my shoulder. If my shoulder was not engaged, I would have got lit up every single match.
Yep.
Or they would have been a lot quicker than they were. So when you wedge your body or something like that, I mean, high open style top roll, you're wedging your body. I mean, your body's here. You're not really, if you're like, I guess you could say the King's move or whatever, but if you're open top roll like this, but you got so much up pressure, right? And you're planting that elbow and you're kind of leaning back as you apply that up pressure and they're hitting you like this. I mean, you're just doing that. That opponent that's pulling you is going to wear themselves out before you do.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, if I'm looking at this match, I'm going to say Morozov has better stamina, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, man, I don't know. Power-wise, is it just a wash?
Probably.
So if Corey can't win the first couple matches, let's put it this way. If Corey can't win match number 1, it's over.
Because, again, this is king of the table. You're pulling 6 rounds.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got to win he's got to win straight matches. In my opinion, Corey West has to win 4 matches straight to win this super match. He can't,
so?
He's not coming back after those rounds. I believe that's what needs to happen.
And then Jerry's endurance is structure frame. And we'll talk about that because don't forget, Jerry had a little accident over the weekend. So we'll touch base on that too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
I think it might be staged, but
why was his wife sitting there watching those plates slide closer and closer to the end, to the point that she could tell him exactly what happened?
Well, I mean, that and the fact that it's like,
use some collars, man.
We've seen he's had bench press videos before. I don't remember if there were collars on there or not. I'm gonna have to look back and go, what the fuck? But I never bench press without collars because, that's the one thing. What you saw in Jerry's video is the one thing that's one of my biggest fears. That's the second biggest fear. The first one is when I get it up and I lose control and it hits me right here. That's the number one fear. But
we're digressing, but let's talk the Jerry thing, and then we'll come back to Corey versus Morozov. Now, the Jerry thing, I think Pradeep was also correct when he did his little video on it and talked about how somebody that is so powerful should not get injured with that kind of weight kind of falling around.
225.
Jerry just went like this. The plates came off. He twisted a little bit. I don't see a major injury happening because of that.
For a guy that can bench, 535 or whatever the number is or something like that. But
I mean, it could, but it's unlikely. I mean, Jerry's more likely to injure himself rapid firing 50 reps with 225 than he is the weights falling off the end.
And then I guess after that, did you see the video where Hermes said, hey,
3 or 4 hours.
Right, to respond. I'm thinking, oh my God, what is this coming to?
Yeah. Never use collars if you're trailing on your own. Welsh Wolverine, if you don't have a proper cage, I agree with you. If you have a cage with safeties on it, then yes, use collars.
I always use collars. I just don't go too heavy unless I have a spotter. So that's just me though.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of it. Is he
Comedy
just
skit from like Saturday Night
trolling
Live.
he's trolling Hermes and it's working. It's working.
Well, he's got his attention, so that is
Now,
true. But
why did we
sorry, Ryan, I
delay
didn't mean to get off topic. Sorry
why
about
did we
that.
delay the last match between Hermes and Jerry?
You know what? If that gets delayed again, I don't even care
Was it a
anymore.
Jerry injury last time?
The first one was a Jerry injury. The second one was Jerry just had him bench pressing, I think, and then that was his injury. And then the next go around was Hermes because he hurt himself against Levon after his match.
Yeah.
I just don't lift, so I can't get hurt.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I got off topic. Blame me for that one.
We went down the path. Let's talk about back to Corey. Who's winning that match?
Oh God. I'm pulling for Corey, but I think I'm gonna say Artem 4-2.
Who?
Artem Morozov.
Artem, yeah. I keep forgetting his first name. Yeah. You know what? I really am cheering for Corey West.
Yeah.
I really am. I don't see him winning. You know, I said he was going to win last week, but I just, man, all of the stuff that's happening over the past several events of East versus West, with all the stuff going on, with the way Morozov has kind of taken on like true elite guys with both arms. He is beating them with relative ease. Like KOTT didn't have much for him.
Well, okay, so you gotta remember, Morozov hasn't pulled in a while. He took some time off, remember?
Yeah.
Because after all those events he went to, and he was always pulling 2 matches, he told Egan, dude, I'm taking time off to heal and rest. So he hasn't pulled in a while. So he should be fresh as a daisy, which means that I'm thinking that's why he might pull this thing out. He's had a lot of rest and recovery. However, Corey's been kind of, relaxing too. What I mean by that is it hasn't been as active. The last time we saw Corey is when he pulled Farid, and who else did he pull? Because he won the left hand match, but in the same event, he lost the right hand match.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Morozov 5-1.
5-1. And I'm writing these down, so just so you can see. Let me see. Just so you can see here. You see that?
Yep.
Okay. Morozov, Jody picks 4-2. Ryan has 5-1. Okay. Even though I'm pulling for Corey, just so we're clear.
Me too.
So.
I hope he wins. I hope he destroys him 4 matches in a row. I just don't see it happening.
Joe Strong's in the house. What's going on, Joe?
Yeah.
I will say this because we got some comments I want to kind of get to. It says, Arm Sports says, I can say Corey is very ready, but only way he wins if he gets his shoulder behind his arm every match. If Artem can't get that hit, it's over. So that's something to think about, right? And then Stack says, plus Morozov is peaking because until recently he was preparing for Levon, so he'll be pretty beastly. Yeah, I mean, he came with frosted hair now, and and I think he was at the last East versus West at tennis, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. He was in somebody's corner. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. But yeah.
All right. So let's go on to Egan versus Coach Ray. This one's interesting to me because the weight difference is the main thing for me. I have a prediction.
Already. This is where it all depends on Egan's health. Didn't he have an injury in like East versus West 1 or something like that?
Yeah, he did.
He didn't finish the match. I think he got injured, like he didn't finish it.
Yeah, that's true. And he burned a lot of fuel in the first match.
Right.
Yeah. So
and I'm wondering, Yeah. And Coach Ray needs to get, man, because Coach Ray, in my opinion, was the puller of the year. What was that? Was that last year? Well, he was just winning every match they threw again, or was it the year before?
Yeah, he was like we picked against him a lot, and he proved us wrong every time.
I mean, he was
So we
beating
kept
Ryan.
picking him, and then all of a sudden he started losing.
The first one that caught my eye is when he lost to Doug Ehrlich the way he did, 3-0. And then, God, he pulled somebody else and lost too. And it was like, uh-oh, And I can't remember who it was. Jay Clean says Egan blew his bicep against Artur. Oh, okay. Yeah, because he couldn't finish it. I remember that.
Yeah. Man, I'm going 6-0 for Egan.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm impressed
I
with
don't think there's anywhere that Coach Ray can adjust that Egan will not see coming.
when the most dangerous pullers, in my opinion, I mean, we all know, strength is, I get it. But when you have somebody who's cerebral, you know,
Yep.
that's dangerous. So it's almost like when you get the next East versus West and you got Mendaugas, Terrasitis versus Giannis, it's like, what the fuck, because you got two guys who are so, mentally there.
Yep.
They know each other. They know where each other wants to be. Egan's that kind of guy. And Egan will sit there and tell you, I'm just working on pronation, yada, yada, yada. It's teacher versus student, this, that, and the other. And it's like, wow. So you said Egan 6-0?
6-0.
Whoa. Only reason why I'm thinking I may go the other way because we don't know for sure how that bicep is.
Well, I need to assume that Egan is back on top form, and I can't. For me to pick against him based on an old injury, I don't know.
Because Joe Strong says Egan's terrible, rear its ugly head again. Coach Ray will be victorious 6-0.
Well, if it
And
does come up, it'll come up early. So
right,
he might be right.
because knowing Coach Ray, and if Egan's pronation, if Coach Ray gets in here and gets that shoulder in there and drives that press down, that's gonna put some damage on that bicep. It'll test it for sure.
Yeah, it will test it.
And nobody wants to see anybody injured. So, I'm looking at it like going, hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go Coach Ray on this one.
What score?
4-2.
Okay. Well, the only way I see that happening, the 4-2 score, is if Egan gets injured again.
I don't want that. No, I don't want nobody to get injured. You know that.
Well, nobody does, but that's the only way I see that particular score happening. Because if
Right.
Egan can adjust and get wins, I think he gets more than two of them, unless there's an injury.
Or does he just?
Maybe.
Do you think there'll be a couple laydowns because the fact that, okay, if I keep pulling like this, I'm in a bad spot. I will tear it again. I'll let it go.
I think you're going to see a lot of 4-rounders. If guys get up by 4, they're going to quit. They're going to stop. Like,
Right.
Put it this way. If Morozov beats Corey West 4 matches in a row, they're not going to do match 5 and 6.
Okay, so here again, then why are we doing 6-rounders then?
Good question, man. They almost need to put a prize purse on every round.
Because seriously, if I understand the math and all that, where, hey, guess what? I'm up 4-0. I don't have to pull these because if I lose the next 2, I still win no matter what. And it eliminates the tiebreaker, even though it's an even number, it eliminates the tiebreaker. Then why are we still using the 6-round format? Why? I mean, I'm just curious because I
Yeah.
know I've pulled 6-rounders before. Ryan, you've pulled 6-rounders before. We know how this whole thing goes, you know?
Yeah, and some promoters won't let you bow out of the last two unless you say you got an injury or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Or PAL, the old PAL with Igor used to have money attached to every round.
I mean, hell, look at Brzezinski and Saplinkov. I mean, we knew Dennis was dominant after probably the second round, honestly. And by the time he got 4, they still finished it off.
Yep.
So it was a foregone conclusion that Dennis is up 4-0. He's going to win the match, but for some reason, they still pulled it. So I get that. Is that because you fulfilled your obligation of the contract that you were going to pull 6 rounds? I mean, I don't even know how that even worked, you know?
Well, it's interesting, but you think back to that Gabby and Sarah match.
That was the first instance of what are we doing here, right?
Yep.
Because
she
then, if
bowed
I'm
out
not
of
mistaken,
match 5 and 6, but Sarah
the tide was turning.
looking like she was going to win matches 5 and 6, which probably would have led to some kind of a rematch. But Gabby said she's done, and it was an official score of 4-0.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get that. I get both sides because it's like 6 rounders, you want to see, king of the table, but yet, I mean, hell, you can go back to the original king of the table 1, Devin and Michael. Devin was far more superior and far more dominant, and they finished it off where I think match 6, they decided to go left hand.
Yeah.
It was just a foregone conclusion.
Some people also lose the zeal to pull 6 if they've won 4. Yeah, you see a lot of people lay down or just let themselves go into bad positions to play around. I mean, what's the motivation to continue if you've already won the match?
I'll say this because I know, and we'll use Devin for an example because we're about to talk about his match next. I know for a fact when I'll go. Devin's a part of this too, but I'll go a different direction. Remember the dark card, 4-man battleground, Ryan?
Yep.
Remember Christensen, who he pulled? He pulled Opperman.
Mm-hmm.
So when Christensen won, he was at 4-0 against Terrence Opperman. Christensen was trying to go for the sweep.
Yep.
So for some people, they want to make sure that I'm that much more dominant than you because Devin, once he's up 4-0, he's trying to complete it. I'm trying to go for the sweep.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you're built. I mean, guys want that. They'll think it's important. Some guys are there just to win. And, you see more and more of that, especially if there's going to be multiple matches happening that day, which we see sometimes as well.
Well, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at that. Number one, if it's a 4-man battleground, right? And you're at Arm Wars and you pull 6 rounds, right? If you're up 4-0, well, guess what? I know I advanced to the next round. Why the hell I want to sit there and keep pulling? Because I'm going to use that same arm.
That's right.
And you're hoping that the guy you're going to pull that wins ends up in a war rather than he smokes his guy 6-0. I sat there, had to grind my 4 wins out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I guess, it's 6 rounds, but it's really not 6 rounds in King of the Table. It's more like a race to 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it should be. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, you ready to talk about the main event?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Dave Chaffee, Devin Larrett.
History goes back to WAL. God, what year was that? One of the ugliest
Has it really been that long?
Yeah. Because there's I love arm wrestling, don't get me wrong. I'll watch any arm wrestling, but sometimes there was a lot of WL matches that just gave me a bad taste.
Was this one of them?
Yes.
Was it the King's move?
Yes.
I agree.
It just left a bad taste in my mouth because the paths were the way the paths were. You can drag back, I guess, as far as you want. But then if you watch the match, it's like the
9-inch.
way Devin approached that, it made
Yeah.
Dave do something he wasn't able to do.
9-inch pads below the table. Like it was some of the worst King's moving we've seen because of the way the rules are in WAL. And Dave thinks that because of the changes in the rules and the way that things are going to be run at King of the Table, he's going to win this match. My fear is that Devin has gotten himself so strong that it might not make a difference.
Talking about with the stem cell stuff?
Not necessarily, just in general, like he looks like a different guy.
Yeah. And it's not like Dave couldn't, win at WAL, because before the Super Series, when it was tournament format, he was kicking everyone's ass, honestly. And it just made Devin figured out that if he wants to win the WAL money, he had to do that. Open top row Kings move, because he wasn't going to go toe to toe. Because before that, Devin would go toe to toe with anybody. You remember that?
Yeah.
But when it came to Todd Hutchings, he couldn't win toe to toe with Todd. That's why he went Kings move. When it came to Dave Chaffee, he couldn't go toe to toe with Dave Chaffee. He would have lost that. That's why he Kings move. So from a strategic standpoint, Devin was smart in doing that. Oh yeah, there we go. See, Jay Clean says something. Scott agrees. So Jay says Devin has gone extremely hard on steroids in the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't watch all the shit talking. I haven't watched any of it. I generally do not watch Devin's stuff. But apparently Dave is firing back pretty well. I haven't seen that either.
It's to the point where, God, you can't look up anything on YouTube without seeing Devin's face on this. It's almost like, dude, you're killing me, right? It's always something, he's like mowing the lawn talking trash, or picking flowers talking trash, or going to the grocery store talking trash, whatever. I don't mind shit talking for arm wrestling, but sometimes there's a line that you just don't cross. And Devin has done that. Hell, I've been just recently dealt with some nonsense about that, where it's, and I don't, and here's the thing, because if you watch Aussie Arm Wrestler's interview with Dave Chaffee, he's kind of right, because Dave said Devin's supposed to be this, guy everyone looks up to. With the new wave of arm wrestlers, they see Devin, and they think that's how you're supposed to approach people and approach matches, the way he does it, by disrespecting people. So Dave says he's supposed to be, the flag bearer for the sport. If that's how you want to do that kind of stuff, I want nothing to do with that. And I have to 125% agree with Dave Chaffee's comment on that. There's ways to go on about this sport that you don't have to sit there and do that, because even Dave said, without ruining it for you in case you want to watch it, Ryan, he said smack talking is one thing, but when you try to embarrass your opponent, when you know you got him beat, he goes, you're not taking nobody's soul. Because how Devin would make, I'm going to take your soul. And Dave was right, because Dave says, You're not taking nobody's soul. You just hold them and you're draining them out till they tire out. That's not taking nobody's soul, which is true.
I would much rather watch a summary or listen to a summary of it from you or Pradeep than actually watch the video itself, as far as like Devin's shit talking goes. Now, the Dave stuff I find interesting, because I agree with everything he's saying. Everything you've said, I agree with. It's just too much, man. Like, if you get to a level where you're ready to have a match with Devin, are you building a YouTube channel that is going to benefit from that? Or, do you think it will help your career? Do you really want to go through all the extra bullshit that comes with signing on for a match with Devin? For me, the answer is no. I don't want that. I don't want my kids listening to that shit. I don't want any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not ever going to do it. Like, there's been rumblings of, left-handed match. Well, man, the preparation you have to go through that, not just physically, but mentally, to pull Devin. You can't rely on the referees to give you a fair match, because he will have them not knowing what the hell way is up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And here's the thing, because like I said, what Dave said was true, because these new wave of arm wrestlers, which I mean new wave being the last 3 to 4 years, give or take.
Yeah.
That's what they see. That's what they think. Oh, if I want to be the top, I needed to go do this. Give me a YouTube channel, talking dang shit and embarrassing people. And that's how you're supposed to do it. No, it's not. Because when you get Dave Chaffee to fire back, then you hit a nerve, because Dave doesn't do that.
Here's the thing, man. I've been watching this stuff. I go to the national championships and Canadian Nationals, amateur championship. It's not amateur like everyone thinks amateur means shitty. That's not what it means. Right. Amateurs are anything that's a national championship that doesn't have a cash prize attached to it. And you see the way some of these kids are coming up and acting, and you just want to grab them and slap the shit out of them and say, like, where are you getting this from? But we already know. We already know. They're screaming at each other. They're shit talking each other. And they look surprised when the referees are like, calm down. Like, you got to stop this shit. You're going to end up, getting fouled out of this match without even pulling. Because we have unsportsmanlike fouls that are given out at these other tournaments. They're just not given out at these major pro events that are happening. So they get off on that stuff. It brings views, but it also influences. So we have these, like, let's face it, Devin is an influencer, and he is influencing people in a way that he likes to do that. They shit talk, they act a certain way, they put things in their body that they may not have otherwise taken, because he's pretty open. In some seminars, I've heard a lot of talk about PEDs and getting to certain levels, but going through what you have to go through to get there. It's bothersome to me a little bit. I don't need to ever have a match with Devin Larrett. It's been thrown around a lot. But, man, I just, you know what? There's a lot of people agreeing with me on here. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to fix it. At some point, and people want to arm wrestle him. And why do people want to arm wrestle him? Because they like him? No. But they know that they get a hell of a boost on all their social media and channels when they arm wrestle Devin Larrett. We write Devin Larrett in the title of a video, and we get way more views on it. It's just the facts.
I guarantee you, if I sat there and was like, and I've had Devin on my show before, and I guarantee you, I'm not trying to sit there and just, crap all over him, because some of the stuff we're talking about is true anyway. But, he influenced the sport where he tries to get our sport mainstream, which he's done an awesome job, mind you. However, in the same breath, on the backside of the coin, he does that kind of shit, right? So here's the thing. And this is why, I don't need to shit talk people at the table. I don't need to do all that. Now, I may yell out of, yes, I won, or that kind of stuff, but I don't sit there and just, disrespect my opponent that much, and then the ref allows that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is where the refs need to take control. Look, we're not doing that nonsense. If you're coming to pull, fucking pull, because we all, and even Dave Chaffee knows, hey, guess what? If Jody Larrett is up on the stage counting and screaming, there's a reason why. It's to deter you away from the match and go to her and says, hey, knock it off. And then Devin does his little cheating thing. And Dave knows it. He sat there and called it out. He says, watch it. This is what he does, No,
the irony of all this is Devin first started in the sport, and he was trained by Aaron and Dion Lengel. Those are a couple of guys that were around Canadian arm wrestling and on the world scene for a number of years. 30 years ago. Aaron is the first guy to tell people that they're making the sport look bad by what they're doing. And he takes it to an extreme level where he, was trying to tell us not to drink a beer and not to smoke a cigar when someone had lit one up, because we were at the Arnold's and he says, you guys shouldn't be doing that with your arm wrestling shirt on. It makes you look bad. That's the extreme. Ironically, that's the guy that started training Devin when he got into the sport. And now here we are. We have all this other stuff going on. So
right.
I don't know, man. But do you want to actually get into the actual match?
Oh shit! I forgot we had to do that.
Oh yeah, there is a match. There is a match that we have to talk about. Yeah,
I kind of forgot about that. Sorry, everybody in the chat. Was that our soapbox of the day?
That might have been the soapbox of the day. I'm not going to talk about WAF this week because nothing's changed. They're still acting like a bunch of assholes. I just don't have any new information. But go watch Kriege's video. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
The Arm Wrestling TV.
So 6 rounds. Chaffee, Devin, who I think will win, who I want to win, are 2 different answers. How about that?
Agreed completely. Yeah. And I already can tell we're going the same direction. And Jay Clean says Devin wants arm wrestling to be WWE. I don't necessarily think that he consciously thinks that in his head. What I do think is that he's found a lane that he's better at than anyone else, and he's shamelessly doing it, and it brings him success. I think that instead of it becoming WWE, he just wants his channel to be the biggest possible revenue driver that he can absolutely make it into. But
right.
So who do I want to win? No secret there. Who do I think will win? I think all things combined, with the mind games, with the frustration, Dave Chaffee, as stoic as he can be, I think he genuinely dislikes Devin, and I think Devin has made it that way. And I think it's just going to be Devin has turned himself into a freak of nature. And, at some point, I mean, outside of Levon, there might not be anyone left that can beat him.
I mean, that's true. I mean, and, Jerry's always kind of chirped about, hey, I'll beat Devin right now. I'm thinking, okay, I mean, as far as I know, Jerry doesn't pull king of the table. Is that a contract thing or what? Because some people pull both, and then some pull one or the other.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know who's going to ref that match. Is Tim Thomas still in the chat? Because Tim, are you going to ref that king of the? No, he won't, because he'll be at my event. Never mind.
You already know the answer to that question.
Yeah. Is it Bill Collins then?
Yeah, and you know what? The 3 matches actually lend itself to being better reffing, because they don't, I can definitely see the advantage of having 2 separate referees for the main event if it's East versus West, and those few refs have been reffing all day long.
I think what you should do, in my opinion, not that one match is more important than the other or less, but when it comes to like the title matches, you need fresh referees up there.
I completely agree.
Because then they're going to have a better grasp. They're not, because Ryan, you've been ref before at tournaments that went long. I've done it. Dude, my back is fucking sore. I mean, just standing all day and reffing and stuff. I mean, that takes a toll. I understand we're just standing doing nothing, but you kind of are, but you're like nonstop. I mean, somebody will toss you a cold water bottle from time to time, but that wears on, for me anyway, wears on my body, lower back for the most part. But
yeah,
if I'm the down ref, I got to squat, so that's a lot more pressure on my knees and all that stuff. But it takes a toll. I think when it comes to title matches, you need a fresh set of referees.
I think so too. And you got Bart Wood. He used to squirt a jar of honey into his mouth between rounds at the big WAL events.
What does that even do?
This gives you energy.
Because Craig Tullier did that before a Game of Arms match, and I was like, what the hell is that for? I mean, I never understood that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Billy Berg, I agree with you, but that's a problem with There's a whole bunch of logistical problems with that. He's talking about long tournaments in Manitoba.
Yeah.
It's because you have a match, you call the next people up, you wait, then you take 5-minute breaks that turn into hour breaks. Yeah.
So just Ron, and I'll give you my prediction here in a second. But last year at our event, we had 2 tables, but because my wife was doing brackets, wasn't real sure about that. Leonard Harkless, instead of reffing, came down and helped out with the brackets because Denise couldn't be there. Denise Waddles.
Yeah.
So with the 2 tables, it was me and Pastor Mark. We ref 1 match on table 1. Table 2, the guys were on deck just waiting. And then we had to go from one table to the other. Okay, match, back over here, match. That will create some long day, where this year, it'll be boom. We got 4 refs, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. We running like this. Corey Mills like, just tell me who won. I got you. Error system, boom, there you go. But I'm gonna give you my prediction because I want to touch base on the errors in case y'all didn't see that. I'm saying I want Dave Chaffee winning, period. However, I think Devin being Devin being the marathon puller that he is, I think Dave will win the first match, and I think Devin will drain him out slowly but surely where he'll win the next few.
I think that they're going to need a tiebreaker.
I hope it does go that way.
And I see Devin winning it. It's going to be Dave winning the first 3.
Silver bullet?
And then Devin winning in the silver bullet. And Scott, to answer your question, we do run 2 tables, but sometimes that doesn't go faster because 2 refs are standing there waiting for a match to finish before the refs are doing a lot of standing and doing nothing between matches.
Oh, damn that. Y'all got to get ready to go. Like, hey, table 1, and because I'm a Denise fan, I've been to her tournaments a lot. Table 1, I need so-and-so. Table 2, I need so-and-so. On deck for table 1. Boom, 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 boom. Get it going because nobody wants a 8-9 hour tournament,
Yeah.
So I say 5-1. Devin, you say it goes to the silver bullet 4-3, Devin.
That's what I think. And you might see Devin. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave pulled out the win overall because I think Devin could foul out of a couple of those matches. It's going to depend a lot on how they call the Kings move.
That's true. I mean, a lot of it bases because it seems like the rules over there are a little bit different than the rules at East vs. West.
Yep.
So, yeah, Jay Clean says Devin 4-1 or 4-2, unfortunately, but sounds like everybody in the chat is going for Dave deep in their hearts, and I hope Dave pulls it out. What sucks for me is that I'm going to be at my own tournament, so I'm not going to be able to see any of this, so live anyway. So, but
check this out.
Corey has more side pressure. Morozov is more well-rounded and has more endurance, but I think Corey has a chance, not being a big one. I hope Corey wins. See, that is legit because here's a guy who's pulled both before, right? So Merritt would know.
Oh. Anyway, my man, let's touch on errors, and then I got to dip a little bit early because I got an appointment I have to be, and it's going to be a 14-minute drive and 10 minutes to get there.
All right. So, errors, people, you need to understand that this is a ratings system and not a rankings system. So, I go on errors, in the 242 and over, left-handed class, I'm number 10. Knowing good and goddamn well I'm at 230, right? But because some of the tournaments, that don't offer that, you go to Bill Collins' tournament, you're going to either be 232 or 233 and over. Well, if I'm 230, it still puts me in the, 242. Or if I'm 235, it's going to put me in the next weight class over, which is 242 and over. And then, you happen to do good, and there you go. You get points. And someone says, how is Corey West not high on the list? How he's not number 1? Well, a lot of it has to do with how active you are also. So if you're, all in the King of Table or all in the East versus West, you're not going to pull a whole lot of other tournaments. That's just the way it is. And we talked about that Friday with Corey Miller, Bob Brown, Jamie Sheldon, and it was if you want to see it, guys, go to my YouTube channel. It was, Friday. It was awesome talk. We're going to circle back pretty soon too about the same thing and see where it goes. What Corey's thinking about doing is that if he go to this tournament and he sees guys in the same weight class, but they're like maybe within 25 points of one another, put them in the same, area. So that way you kind of know I'm pulling this guy. He's like, 25 points either ahead of me or behind me. That would be a good match, basically, right?
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, because I know Canada has been seeking about, hey, can we be a part of that? So that's what Corey was mentioning on the show. What do you think about his system?
It's interesting. I need to see it applied at events more often to really give an opinion on it.
Because this is the most accurate thing that we have. I know a lot of the rankings that we have, because right now we have two rankings, right? You got the Arm Fighter, which is US based, then you got the In the Hook, which is North American based, right? And the guys on the committee do a good job, but how they come up with who's ranked higher than who is beyond me. But problem number one is that those two rankings I just mentioned are different weight classes. So, they're not the same. And I guess what Corey's going to do is at some point he's going to implement the IFA rankings into it, which would make sense, So, but yeah, I mean, we got more about that on my show. Check it out. It was last Friday. Feel free to get on there and listen. And then, feel free to comment on that,
Yeah. All right, buddy. I got to fly, but we'll be back next week.
Yes, because we got a lot to talk about, results and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. We shall be back, and we'll talk about results, and we'll touch on how it went at your event, of course.
Yes, we will. Can't wait. My friend, you have a meeting to go to? Go ahead and take care of that. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your week. And everybody, Saturday is the day. Don't forget, LLD, King of the Table. Lots to get to next Monday. I'll see you right here. Same time, same station.
Right on. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.